Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nasty Week 3, Season 2. It's a nice day for some Omega Strikers. I'm AJ Cannon, I'm joined by Cardsmith, and we're going to have Cyber versus Cal coming up here. What do you think about this matchup?
A little bit low-key of a heater. I know a lot of these players playing, and I've played with a lot of them in the past, and I can tell you there's pretty much no weak spots in any position, and they're going to be matched up quite well. As you draft on screen, it looks like some interesting picks here. X Mako now going to cows. Gonna have to see, is X up to speed with the new changes that have happened, and see how well they do.
Yeah, always adjusting to those changes can be pretty difficult to see. But I do see that there is a Rasmus coming up here. And also, the Clarion Test Chamber, it's kind of Rasmus's home ground. But on the other side, there is now over there. So we're going to have a bit of a Clarion Corp rivalry on the Clarion map. So that'll be fun to see as well. But of course, the Juno low-key can be very good on CTC if you know what you're doing, because those slimes can just block choke points really nicely. And of course, she has the mobility to jump around as well. So seeing Ashy on that Juno on the goalie should be pretty interesting to see how it works out.
Yeah, and as we get started here, just a little bit back and forth on this map. Pretty good X map if he can get the size, and with one size awakening, it can be pretty impressive. But Zoe the Witch gets it instead and gets a barrier right away. Gets the second one as well and tries to get a goal, but doesn't quite get there as the offense starts going back and forth between these two teams.
Yeah, lore accurate, now foiling Rasmus's schemes there. Nice play by Kaliel there on the pick. Me trying to get the orb, trying to get the bell ringer, trying to do a lot of damage, but the X is still level 1 right now, so no X Maximus. Pendulum swing goes right through the now, but the secondary from now also brings back. Nice dribble with the slime off the top, but that is going to be one dead Aimi going off the side. First blood over to me. And Zoe the Witch a little bit angry about it, gonna hit the X with the whiplash, but doesn't get too much done. But buys a lot of time in the middle here. We're going into overtime. Finally getting one barrier are the cows, but the glitch pop is gonna get the goal as soon as they do that. And Cyber taking the first goal of the match.
Yeah, Zoe and Serve doing a really good defense there. Basically, not just having a barrier drop the entire time until the very end there, where they score the goal. The size a little bit too much for Expo to be on the side of the map, and just got comboed out. Have to look out for that if Expo decides to get even more size. But yeah, that was a pretty long point. Almost went into overtime, and we'll have to see if the same happens here, as the bouncy castle of this map is going to be very interesting to see how X will position with the now in order to get these checkmates, as Flip gets expended by Zoe and Mie. Pretty good offense on both sides. Both players going down for overtime.
Yeah. The bouncy castle, though, doing its thing, bouncing the core all over the place. The glitch pop coming out, but the vertical bounce. Zoe the Witch also very low, though, getting hit by the bell ring. Now staggered, but not dead just yet. Expo trying to make use of that cyber strike to get in the face of Kaliel, but not enough so far. The slimes come out, but X is able to strike for 3 slimes all at once. Last second save there by the Juno. Zoe the Witch also on the back up there, but in the end, it's going to be me strike warring against 2 people in the goal there and bringing up a time 1-1.
Yeah, it looks pretty doomed there. The Mako speed and size just helping the X and now just get into the correct position, and they had a core flip on top of all of that. So it was pretty much bound to happen given that position, as 2 barriers going down right away and almost a score for Galactic Space Cows. We'll have to see if this flip gets properly used and scores a goal as Zoe tries to get an offense going.
Yeah, we also have the usage of the Drakkar ambush sites there as well, little Video Legend bushes. Great core flip over to the X. The bull rush, though, a little bit too short, no dash awakenings there. Extend the range of it. The now arrow as well, trying to get a little bit of dribble there. Cyber swipe with the core flip gets 1 barrier, but there's still another to go, and it's an open goal for the Counts if they can push forward here. Cyber swipe, though, going for another loop with the Mako primary. They're not enough time charge, though. A little bit off position and not going into the little channel on the side of the map. Almost would bounce off the side there. Cyber Side not enough to go forward. Juno is getting it forward as well as the IME. Now an IME trying to stare each other down, but in the end it goes right through the IME. Well played by Kaleo, good patience, and me just waiting in front of the goal, ready to send it in as soon as he gets over there. 1 second before.
Yeah, something to note is Victory Bacon strikes specifically. Striking very well this game. Pretty much every strike timed to perfection for every ability coming in from the Rasmus and Expochan. A lot of hit stun coming in and can be very threatening as Zoe gets low on this map. This map, a lot of damage can come out just for standing into the gates of the Zera area. So you can see me almost dies instantly as a result. But both players will have to be fearful of their life as Cyberswipe gets a kill and looking to end this on a flip.
Yeah, but not ended just yet. Good manual redirect off of the slime, though. Oh, but one berry goes down. The core flip as well is going to be missed. Zoe the Witch misses the strike, has the core flip build, but so does the map. Flip up a little bit off. The core flip now gets up to the top, and that is Zoe going off the map with the full core flip as well. Really unfortunate loss the energy economy, but now is also very low on health. The Glitch Hop sends it forward, but now is covering the bottom side of the goal, so it's not going to go in just yet. But Rasmus back on the field now. Me trying to get through the Bellring, though, going to miss the core. Well played by Expo to get it around there. Dribble by Zoe. So no, yes, touch. With the mix-up there, I thought that was going to be a classic strike into Pendulum Swing, but it was the Death's Touch back into a strike with Pendulum Swing to follow it up just in case it was necessary. Well played by Zoe, not doing the expected play. And again, another tie-up. I've been trying to use the center of the map to get one barrier. Not going to work, but the second one will be found by Zoe on the bottom side.
Yeah, and two barriers going out right away. But this is kind of what we expected. 2-2 on the first point. You know, first set is going to determine a lot. If X ends up getting it, he can scale really quickly, and really concerning if he can get a Size Awakening or two. Because with the Mako, yeah, and he'll get the goal right here. Will be very threatening on the amount of space he can take with his Bellringer and with his strikes when he does X Maximus. You see Kaleo get the MVP here, and a lot to offer here though. Some sparks, size for the X if he wants it, Super Surge and aerials for extra dash range, and some survivability here. See what they take here.
It could be an aerials deny against the IME, but it's not going to be. He's going to hang the draft for a little bit. Stagger Spire going to the IME. A little bit of survivability is really nice against this comp with the Now and the X. I'm not going to back it up. Aerials is going the way of the Now. Potential Juno deny there, but Juno doesn't like aerials as much sometimes anymore. Depends on the player, but that 40% is kind of the threshold for being considered bad on some people. But the Super Surge is going to be a little interesting with how fast those slimes can hit it. On the other side, though, or on the other hand, we have that Rapid Fire on the Rasmus and the Spark of Focus on the Mako, so a lot more cooldowns going to be coming out as well. But X already picking up 2 Rampage stacks. Me is going to be very, very large in this set. And
yeah, you can already see it right there. You know, using the size in order to get that goal with the slick kicks there. Also to note, Victory Bacon, the only one to pick up a Spark there. And Resilience is already down. That's kind of a super scary angle that the team that probably scales a little better got a lot of scaling there with their 3 Awakenings. We'll have to see if Expo and Zoe the Witch can keep up the pressure with their abilities. Sort of kind of gets pummeled there and loses the second barrier as Victory Bacon again. Really good strikes in order to clear it out, and it looks like Galactic Space Cows are kind of in the driver's seat even though they're on defense.
Yeah, that Mako is an iron wall, whereas Juno needs to be on offense. Great double barrier from Expo with the core flip as well, kind of interrupted by that Atlas obstacle in the middle of the field, unfortunately. But Zoe gets drilled on the bottom, baits out the strike shot, the Pendulum Swing, not going to be perfect. Great save by both Bacon and Kaleo as they're trying to get it out. Zoe misses the strike against this massive X. It's just so difficult to play against all of that extra size from these Rampage stacks. Glitch Pop going to miss as well, and Me's just going to put it right in. Strike X Maximus to follow. Didn't even need it, but was there for the secure. Stuns up the goalie just in case they have something left in the tank. But a brutal, an amazing second wind from Expochan finding that double barrier, but not enough to actually turn the tides of that set, or of that point, unfortunately, and maybe even the set as another barrier goes down. And Cyber, not in shambles just yet, but definitely not looking great against this X who is beginning to scale very fiercely.
I mean, you just look at the size of the X Strike and X Maximus. Has to be a little bit careful though, getting a little low on HP as another slime hits me. almost dies the pendulum swing, but doesn't quite get there, and they're now full health. But yeah, that strike with the X Maximus was pretty large, and there's only going to be more Rampage stacks, more size potentially in the Awakening drafts, and the size increase from Victory Bacon secondary. We'll have to see, you know, if Expo can find those double barriers a little bit more consistently in order to get some scores.
Yeah, Expo using everything to try and kill me on that, but me is going to live and pick up a barrier for the troubles. Death Touch used preemptively with the prediction of Glitch Pop going to hit Mako, but not the core. A little bit too late on that ability usage, unfortunately. Sort of, though, going to the bottom, and great play there. The bounce up to Zoe, who used the Whiplash to get it in. Just good knowledge of the overtime speed there. Assertive just puts it forward so quickly as soon as it goes forward. That kind of window is what you can see exploited by a lot of top players. You know, just when that overtime first hits, people aren't always expecting that level of core speed. And so it can really catch people off guard. So well played.
Yeah, but 6 stacks on this Rampage now. Ooh, low health on me, though. A little bit concerned. Dodges a couple abilities, though, in order to stay alive. And with the ultimate coming in. Oh! KO with the Glitch Pop Cyber Swipe combo, though, from Expo Chan. Zoe's trying to capitalize with the double barrier here. Slime comes out from Assertive, not quite finding the goal as Victory Bacon just tries to get it out there. And Zoe can't confirm it with the Pendulum Swing just yet. But all those stacks lost by me. A little bit of a concern for this set, but Space Cows will press on and try to get the goal here with the core flip. And yeah, not quite getting there with the flip there. Of course, just kind of goes all over the place. And we'll see if these team player procs from Kaliel and Victory Bacon can get the core to me in order to get the score.
Not just yet. The core flip down to the bottom, blocked by Bacon. Kaliel up at the top with the arrows going forward. So much damage on this Rasmus, but Zoe's almost putting it with the Pendulum Swing. Not enough. Expo Chan misses the strike, and me has the core, winning the strike wars. The Slimes go forward. The core is red all the way across the map so quickly. Glitch Pop not going to find the perfect connection. Expo Chan is looking for Assertive, trying to get things done as well. The turret's going to lock Bacon in the corner, and Zoe's just going to put it right through. Kaliel unable to help, unable to get through the turret. Good placement of the setup by Expo Chan, but the execution from Zoe the Witch and Assertive to set all of that up as well. Good team play by Cyber, tying it up once again and looking to deny this X at all-important scaling. And of course, with the Rampage reset in the last point, absolutely critical for the Cows losing all of that size on the X.
Yeah, it seemed to matter a lot, which is concerning going into this 0.5. Again, second set, 0.5. Looking like to be kind of a long one, and most of these points are going into overtime. So a lot of value is going to come from everyone who has a team player, but nothing really happening quite yet. Trying to get that second barrier is Cyber Swipe, but fortunately, Zoe the Witch has to be careful of getting killed here as they're fully staggered, and coming through from me, gets the one barrier, gets the second barrier, kill now going in, and there's the score by Kaliel TV, and now Galactic Space Cows up 2-0.
That, I believe, might have been a lingering manual redirect from Assertive on that last slime. It might have also been a now strike I didn't see. It was very fast, but I think what happened is the Juno tried to strike something else away, and so the slime had that programmed reset lingering just a little too long, so it fired it backwards when it got the core, unfortunately. And also apologies to my, got the name wrong, it is not me, it is my, oh me, oh my, Hotshot Deny over onto the now there. Fight or Flight, though, going to the Rasmussen Knife's Edge on the X. Pretty brutal pickups all around, a lot of good stuff in this draft.
Yeah, that Knife's Edge, I mean, there were a couple kills that Expo Chan was really close to just dying on the edge, especially on this map. Knife's Edge is going to get a lot of value. And now you just have to be careful of those combo kills. Trying to get another kill on Zoe the Witch again, but doesn't quite get there as the one barrier goes down and Rampage stacks going up. Interesting enough, Fine did not take the extra big fish there, but we can see the amount of damage that is just coming out now on both sides is pretty impeccable as Expo gets the combo kill there.
Yeah, the Cyber Swipe kill flip combo, putting the namesake of the team to good use there. But X is back in 3 seconds, and they still haven't got a single barrier with it. This is looking very dire for Cyber as they're trying to close this out. The Slimes go forward, get it past, but the Cyber Swipe from Expo just goes over the core. Mako as well, shelling from downtown, actually taking a little bit of damage. so much from the now arrow as well. And now it's my setting it up for Kaliel to just beam it right through with the red core from the core flip. Well played there, and Cows beginning to run away with, well, continuing to run away with the game, I should say, as it's been dominant so far, and Cyber needs to turn this around very soon, or they are in completely dire straits. X has been scaling this entire time, and he's only going to get worse from here with all those Rampage stacks. Good setup there from Double Barrier with the now arrow as well. Coreflip comes out, it's blocked on the top and the bottom though, so it's not going to get too much done. Whiplash secures that second barrier on the other side. X-Trend, good dodge, not dying to the Bell Ringer, but will die to the Atlas in the middle of the map there. Unfortunate for Expo-chan, and now it's in the negative power play. Cyber trying to get things done, sort of rushing forward, but it might be a little bit too much, but you have to take his risk play. Coreflip comes out, goes to the bottom, defended by Bacon though.
Yeah, I mean, Bacon just looks so clean with every single strike. Now, looking for that core flip now. Expo's trying to deny it with Zoe the Witch, and they will get it past Assertive though. It looks like Assertive couldn't, just jumped over way too far and the slime couldn't reach it, and they get properly punished, and now it's match point for Galactic Space Cows. For a team that's about to 3-0 Cyberswipe, looks very convincing here.
Yeah, was an unfortunate clear by Expo there. I mean, especially if you're a midfielder, even a goalie main would have a difficult time making the call there. You know, you have a now up to the top and next down to the bottom. But that is one barrier going down. Victory Bacon not able to defend it with the secondary holding just a little bit too long. Now teleports down to the bottom. The core flip though goes up. The pendulum swing is just to secure that the strike was enough. Sort of using a slime up at the top, gets it down to Expo, but the strike shot from Bacon is on point and has been the entire time. But there we go, 1 point over the Cyber. The beginning of a potential total reverse sweep here. No sets and 2 points. From 1 point away from losing the game, can Cyberswipe bring it back?
Yeah, 1 goal right there is good enough. Almost gets the kill though. Another double barrier down again for Assertive. And that's just it. The double strike from Mai confirms it with the X Maximus. And yeah, it was just too much size for Cyberswipe. And Galactic Space Cows take a 3-0 game 1.
Well played by Cyberswipe and the Cows, but the Cows just dominant in this match. A lot of it, I think, comes down to just the suppression of this Juno goalie. She was never able to get any presence on the map, really. The Slimes were constantly denied, struck war against as soon as they appeared. And of course, when you have an X in your face on something like the Juno goalie, it's a lot harder to actually do things further on the map. So I don't necessarily think it was even a bad pick from Cyberswipe, but the game knowledge and the character knowledge from Cows, you just completely shut that down, meant that this Juno was the lowest redirects on the team, which she's usually the highest by a mile.
Yeah, and especially, we didn't really touch upon it that last draft, but I felt like after that unstoppable pickup from Victory Bacon, it was just all the hit stun that you get from Rasmus and Aimee just doesn't quite exist anymore if they're not just consistently hitting it. And with Mai being able to pick up all the size and with team player on both the midfielder and the goalie, it was just pretty much, hey, let's let X move all the way up, and then we're just going to get to the X. And this, you know, can't really do anything. And as a result, 9-5, very convincing victory for Galactic Space Cows. But there's potentially 2 more games left in the series, and we'll have to see how Cyberswipe bounce back.
Yeah, and it'll have to be quite the bounce back from this one, but we have seen even better bounce backs before, so don't count Cyberswipe out of it just yet. There is still a chance, but it will come down a lot to just the way that they can play the matchup that is selected. The draft is important as well, but I feel like in this game so far, it's been Cows with that edge in just the character and gameplay knowledge. Playing against, knowing the draft, knowing how to play the draft with the characters that are there, really did just give them that tremendous edge over Cyberswipe in this first game. At first, I was going to talk about, I was going to yap a little about, Expo-chan on the Aimee being so powerful, and of course, even the namesake of the team there. But they just decided to beat them at their best, taking out, even the Aimee on that team, showing they have what it takes. It was really well played. And another note as well, with that unstoppable pickup, it's really good against Aimee and Rasmus. It's also just really good on Mako. just because of the fact that, when she has an Unstoppable, you can't hit stun her out of that secondary, so you can't cancel it for the forwards. You can't cancel the charge up on the primary either. So it's so good on Mako and so good against Rasmussen that it's just a twofold thing there. She's really well played on that pickup. But speaking of, Unstoppable is going to be one of the pickups here right off the bat. Also, that Chrono Boost going to mean that there is an X ban immediately. Cyberswipe not dealing with that. The Juno ban coming out from Cows. They knew, hey, we shut down the Juno last time with the X, but without the X in play, it's going to be a little harder to do that. So they're going to take that right out of the equation, and it's going to be a Zentaro first pick there with assumedly the Dash Awakening.
Yeah, but it is Night Market. Yeah, I was wondering if it was going to be the Juliet or the Asher picked for Galactic Space Cows, and it's looking a little bit like the last game, where you get the Zentaro, and it can be marginally better, especially because it's fairly decent against Unstoppable, and on top of that, you do get the Dash Awakening if you want it, and with the change that was earlier in the season where you can dash over walls, it's not as much of an issue on this map as it was. A little bit interesting development here, though, with the Rune pickup from Cyberswipe. I would say pretty decent on this map. Can cover a lot of angles. Banish is still very, very powerful. Even though he is against the Unstop, if you end up going for the Chrono Boost, it can be a little bit concerning for the enemy team because you just get banished for a really long time. And Atlas finally coming out, and I don't think this is the best team comp ever, but I think if every single person is just comfortable with their striker picks, it can be quite a nuisance, especially with that Rune Banish.
Yeah, and that Rune Banish can set up so much off the back of the play. So, the Rune Banish itself takes you off for a few seconds, and then, you have so much damage coming out from that, from everything else. So, will be interesting to see how they play that, but also how Cows plays against that. But of course, with a comp like Mako, Kai, and Asher, Mako, of course, somewhat saving the one big weakness of Asher, which is the lack of speed. So for those few seconds that Mako is able to channel it, you have a lot more speed than you would normally have. And it's going to be interesting to see whether it's the Chrono or the Unstoppable pickup on that Mako. I'm going to assume it's Unstoppable just because it's talking about how good it is, and you can always pick up other Dash Awakenings, but there's only one Unstoppable. But of course, if they go for the Chrono pickup, then it does.
I think someone's going to go Unstoppable here, so it kind of forces the Mako to pick Unstoppable. Otherwise, you are losing out on a bit for that Zentaro. But again, Zentaro kind of plays well into the Unstoppable, so I don't know if it'll ultimately matter, because you can just primary the Mako, and if you hit it with the first hitbox, then you can just deny the secondary anyways. It'll be interesting to see, though, what Awakenings some of the others will pick. If it's just going to be like Kai, I think will absolutely go Chrono Boost. It's just way too good of an Awakening to give up, but we'll have to see what the Rune picks. Oh.
They forgot to swap the map
Yep.
between, so they almost got into game there. We were about to start warming up for that, but we're going to have to tab back out real quick and cycle it back through. Going to be a few more seconds, but not too long. The players have shown that they're ready by starting that up, so once they swap that one map, shouldn't be too much. They also have to swap the Awakenings. Classic, regular things that happen. You have to have at least one scuff thing like that every single time. Just for a little bit of good luck for the stream. The more scuffed it is, the more funny it is at times. So teams, though, going into this with the correct map and the correct Awakenings this time, and didn't accidentally mess the settings up and somehow set it to like 5 goals a set, because that would be rather hilarious, but also a little bit of a slog. So going into the game at long last this time, loading up, and then should be good to go for... Honestly, I was going to call it a bloodbath, but looking at these teams, it's not much of a bloodbath. There's potential, but not a ton.
Yeah, I feel like there's just going to be a lot of burst damage. I mean, Kai obviously not a consistent damage character, but the knockback compounded with the Asher combo can just be very threatening on the edges of the map. And then in terms of Rune and Zentaro, again, not a consistent damage dealer that Rune is, but with the Banish and with the Unstable Anomalies, it can be a lot of damage very quickly. And if Zentaro can hit 1 or 2 abilities after that, pretty much guaranteed kill no matter what. We do see Unstoppable pretty much being picked up by every single person except the Rune and the Kai. So Rune ending up going that Chrono Boost for that extra debuff duration. And yeah, we'll have to, we're right into match, and right away, it looks like one barrier falls for Cyberswipe, and it pretty much is an interesting rotational situation, especially with the Magnet Souls on Expochan, but both barriers ending up going down for Galactic Space Cows, and yeah, a little bit of a threatening spot that they're in, getting pushed in all the time.
Yeah, it is so difficult to go against that at times, and now that we have Ashy on the Atlas, it is so difficult to go through another wall goalie to face down, unlike the Juno from last time. That's going to allow the core to go forward and Expochan and Zoe to execute so much better. It's one of those things where you would expect, the Juno goalie from behind being able to support the forwards, help them to execute more plays, but sometimes it just takes that peace of mind and confidence in your defensive play from this Atlas that enables the forwards to just go all out, use all their abilities, and not worry about the core going behind. So it really depends on the players on the team. Great double banish, though. Not too much follow-up able to be found there. So it's not going to end in too much, a little bit of positioning for a second there before it goes back to the side. Great Astral Projection, though, gets it right through Asher. No mean feat on that one. Zoe the Witch going forward, trying to get the Zentaro primary to get it through, but not going to be able to. Kaliel trying to win the strike while here on the bottom. The Astral Projection is just going to win everything immediately. Zoe the Witch, though, has the core flip as well, looking to use it eventually, but is going to have to use it there. Tries to get through, but Kaliel with a great cancel with the barrage as well. Going to die for that one, though. Gets one barrier and the core flip counter, but does die for it. The banish onto the goalie again is going to mean that one more barrier goes down, pass through the speed gate, pass back up. The Rune Anomaly there as well is nice. The Network Angle gets it forward, and Snare Drums keeps it down on the bottom here. The dash up from Zoe, but there's no dash range yet, and there's no setup quite yet as well. But overtime Astral Projection is quite intense. The Rune Anomaly as well is a great counter, but not enough. Kaliel has the back of Bacon, and the core is going to go for another couple of cycles.
Yeah, the Kaliel and Bacon synergy is just showing up again this game. Feels like every time Victory Bacon is in, just a difficult spot. Nice core flip there by Assertive. Kaliel is also there just to get another strike, just so the clear is good. A little bit of a concern, though. Victory Bacon, no energy, as the score keeps on going to their other sides. It's a little bit concerning, because especially as Kai, you really want to just move forward. And the Rune Anomalies and Zoe the Witch being able to just dash a very long distance is a little bit concerning for this Kai, not being able to go where he pleases with that Chrono Boost.
Yeah, it is a big thing of that. And yeah, without the Unstoppable, very able to be killed as well. Nice bit of back and forth here on the kickoff. No team clearly winning it, but the Giga Blast gets it through, but Assertive is there as well. Mai with the core flip, Expo with the counter flip. Zoe the Witch trying to get forward, but doesn't have the dash range once again. Double banish is nice, gets a lot of damage on the field. Kaliel is looking quite low. Potential to knock a core flip off the map with that, even just from forcing the dodge. Core flip could be used by Zoe, though. Just going to let it hang, but a great bit of patience is actually going to mean that hanging the core is actually perfect to get it through, but it also goes through the Zentaro primary, so it's going to stall for a second there. Forward, though, is Expochan and Zoe dashing. They both dash at the same side of the map, looping up a little bit, unfortunately. That's going to allow Clear to kind of go for a bit of a cycle over to Mai. That goes back over to Kaliel, back over to Mai. Back and forth we go, but it's going to be the Zentaro primary getting it through, and that's a 3-0 sweep in this set. Cyberswipe, game one was a warm-up game for them.
Yeah, this is kind of the Cyberswipe that we wanted to see. Expo, for some reason, just looks way more comfortable on the Rune, even trying to do like a Rune portal checkmate at the upper left corner. Couldn't quite get there. The third primary from the Zentaro ends up getting it here. A lot of good awakenings on the board. Flight ends up picked up by the Zentaro. And I think that's going to be a very great awakening for this match, because not a lot of damage and a lot of KOs are coming out. It was only just the one. But speed is going to be very important, because if you can just outspeed the Asher, then Asher is just put in quite a difficult position for this map.
Yeah, and that's a really interesting pickup as well, though. The taking the fight or flight away from the Kai, even in favor of that explosive entrance on Zentaro. I think it's a really nice play, especially, there's always more dash awakenings. But fight or flight is just such a good ability, and it's especially great on Kai specifically. So picking it up on your character where it's good and taking it away from someone where it's great is just amazing. Pass up almost the speed gate there, but it's not quite up yet in time. Almost a barrier going down, but is saved. Mai, though, taking tons of damage on the backs of these plays. Managed to get 1-2 with the barrage from Kaliel, and a lot of health sacrifice, but not even a death secured there. I mean, a KO secured, I should say. Banished, though, onto 2 people. Expo-Chan securing a double barrier on the other side. Now we have open goals. 17 seconds left in the point, and Timmy Mai shoving it through that cosmic expansion from the Atlas.
Yeah, really good sequence of abilities from Mai. Pretty much, I don't really think Assertive could really put that in a spot other than a straight up strike upwards. But really nice sequence to end it there. A little bit concerning. I think in terms of last draft, it's just, I mean, I'm looking at all these Awakening. It's just a huge win for Cyber Swipe here. They get the Castellas on the rune, and they get the Firefly on Zentaro, and not the Eye, as you said. And as we see this point, though, looks like Galactic Space Cows are kind of enacting what they wanted to do from the draft, just trying to push up into this Atlas's face and make him use every cooldown possible. But here, it looks like the Rune and the Zentaro will end up getting both barriers as they try to get a goal here.
Great play. The Gig Blast from Kaliel was on point, but the Astral Projection follow-up was good as well. And that's going to be the Rune securing the goal. Expo-Chan getting it through Bacon there. Just not quite able to perfectly execute that defense. It was a really nice offense as well from the side of Rune. It was a bit greedy by Bacon to go for the secondary there, but sometimes you have to do what you have to do if you don't have a strike available.
Yeah, I think Victory Bacon wanted to use the secondary in order to just keep the core between his secondary and the Unstable Anomaly, and just keep the Empowered Strike in order to really just win out on a Strike War if he needed to. Unfortunately, doesn't quite work out there, and the goal is scored by Cyber Swipe. But looks like Cyber Swipe are understanding that yes, we are the ones that are supposed to, you know, record us. This is great, rude, unstable. However, another great scoring opportunity for Space Cows. And
That's a full
in order
sweep.
to goal
2 goals
and
now.
more. Okay. What? Combo from the side. Take some sort of eye rush. Forces the flip from Victory Bacon, but unfortunately doesn't quite get anywhere for Galactic Space Cows. And it just feels like every single time Assertive is just a wall with this Atlas. Needed to use every single ability though, doesn't really have anything left, and Mai gets the kill, waits very patiently, but unfortunately can't get the score. And because Kaliel didn't really move up in order to secure any other redirect, it looks like, ooh, not, oh my goodness, what a crazy sequence from Mai there. It feels like Assertive was just trying to get the sword angle 3 times, and Mai eventually said no and shut Assertive down there for the goal and the set one.
Yeah. The double strangle in the face of Asher was kind of insane, but in the end, Asher Dash said no. Atlas is standing a little too close to the edge, and that's going to be stacks on stacks going the way of Asher. So much speed in that as well. Ariel's going the way of Zentaro. Great Dash Awakening for him. Does help with the passive, and also importantly, denies Kai once again. Kai just cannot get what he wants. Rapid Fire is not bad from the last pickup, but this time he's settling for a Rampage, which is kind of sleeper on Kai in the one sense. Size on Kai is very slept on stat. It can be very good with him, but it's also not necessarily what you want from a draft like that.
I think it was just awkward. I mean, there were 3 sparks in that draft, and whenever there's a draft like that where you just see most of the sparks show up, it's just kind of awkward because you have to decide, okay, do I want to take a spark to guarantee the spark scaling whenever the spark comes up later, or do I just take an Awakening that might just be marginally better now? knowing that the full scaling's not there with the Sparks. It looks like both sides kind of got stuff that they want. My getting more speed now and Victory Bacon getting the Siege Machine is going to be really great for that defense. Expo, though, getting more creation duration, and that's going to be really obnoxious based on how these points are going. Victory Bacon's going to have to step up with some of these strikes in the next set.
Oh, the double banish wasn't enough. Great defense by Victory Bacon was very close. I was ready to call the goal, but wasn't quite yet. Great ultimate from Zoe the Witch, but it's not going to get it through. Giga Blast as well, just isn't unstoppable there. Zoe the Witch trying to get it through, but not going to invest the Corp. That's going to mean the goal is not scored just yet. Mai trying to get it through as well, but every single Asher ability is not enough. We are deep into overtime, but Victory Bacon wins the strike war once again. This defense is all important from this Mako. One slight mistake. Great angle there from Zoe the Witch with the secondary as well. That is a clip if ever I saw one. The bounce off of the middle is so difficult to pull off well just on its own, but the frame perfect dash as well to get to the exact point, the exact time, was just masterful execution on Centauro.
Yeah, I mean, even Expo there with the portal just in the right position as they get saved by Assertive's ultimate. And a little bit of concern, though. It looks like if Mai can really just get in there, it's sort of like last game's game plan, right? Where I feel like this is kind of Galactic Space Cow's like team identity, where you just have Mai walk up, right, with Kaliel. And as long as they can just keep the core like somewhat in there for like 2 or 3 seconds, it eventually is just going to go in. It's just way too hard in order to get it past Mai and the barrage from Kaliel. And then Victory Bacon's just sort of that iron wall defense, right? Where nothing's really getting past him and nothing's really just happening in terms of the goals. And unless Zoe and Expo can hit these really nice goals, like with that core flip that we saw last set, it's going to be very difficult for them to win this game.
Yeah, it's also, I think, a problem with this Rune pick. Of course, Expo is playing it very well, but Rune is not really known for winning the midfield. He's really good at either end, but the middle can be kind of rocky for him. And that's meaning that Zoe the Witch has to play super far back, and it's leading to kind of a 3v3 where they have to push all the way across the map just to do anything, but by then they're out of abilities. And Mai almost dying, but it's going to be Victory Bacon from downtown in overtime getting it through, and Mai on death's door able to celebrate when the point is over. There's no more risk of death. And the Astral Projection was kind of a last-ditch attempt. It almost would have been nice to see that Astral Projection just commit to killing Mai there to reset the stacks on stacks instead of going for a kind of haphazard save on the goal that probably wouldn't have succeeded even if it did hit the goal.
Yeah, I think that the other thing is Assertive just didn't realize Victory Bacon has flip, and if Victory Bacon has flip and can get past Zoe and Expo, it's just a goal pretty much every time unless you're ready for it. And again, Mai just in the barriers, just allowing to get the double barrier here. Really good banish from Expo Chan, but Core's not really going past the midfield, and the stacks are reset, but Galactic Space Cows end up getting the goal here.
Yeah. It will be telling, though, if Cyberswipe can come back in this with that stacks on stacks reset on the Asher, will they be able to get something done in this game? They were able to win that first point, of course. So if they can do it again when, the speed on Asher is reset, then it might just be a thing where they have to deny that on Asher as often as possible to win these points. The core flip comes out from Expo Chan, but they lose a barrier at the back end of the play. Strike War is being won and lost all over the place. Core flip goes down over to Mai and over to the barrier. Great bounds and sort of not quite getting the prediction right.
Oh,
and the unfortunate placement of that infinite duration Rune anomaly. You have to think 15 seconds ahead of the game just to make sure it doesn't own goal like that. But it's a double-edged sword when it lasts that long, because you place it and it helps, and then it lasts so long that it ends up hurting afterwards. And something tells me that this Atlas probably isn't going to get that twin drive, unfortunately.
Yeah, probably not, especially with, maybe though, with the extra special picked up. Yeah, I think Perfect Form is going to be picked up by the Asher, and Atlas does get the twin drive if they want, and they'll end up going it there. Pretty powerful ability to get there. I think they were just trying to toss up between the Spark and the twin drive. I think they might have just said, yeah, you're pretty much getting something good no matter what. Extra speed, extra cooldown compared to the cooldown you're getting, and availability for the secondary with the twin drive. Both sides, though, getting some really powerful awakenings in terms of the game state. You know, as long as and I'm particularly looking at this perfect form, right? It just means more abilities and more potential to get stacks on stacks for Mai in order to get these barriers. And you can just see it there. The core is just constantly on Cyberswipe's side and not really getting through the midfield here.
Yeah, it's the thing again. Ooh, the unfortunate anomaly placement forcing out a core flip, but barrage from Kaliol is perfect. Mai goes up to the top. The gold gate is still opening, unfortunately. The Cosmic Expanse, though, is perfect from the Atlas. Mai is banished again, but there's no attempt to do some damage. The anomaly is used up on the top to try and help defend. Giga Blast goes a little bit wide. Victory Bacon is playing super far up as well with the Ensnare Drums trying to get things done. It's actually not going to be punished at all, because Cyberswipe just cannot clear past the center of the map for any more than a couple of seconds. The corpse is going to be used by Mai, tries to get a fancy angle with it, Zoe the Witch also tries to go for an angle, but forward this time. Victory Bacon gets it over, but it goes for a cycle over to the room, but the strike shot is good. The anomaly puts up to the top, but Kaliol knows, puts it to the bottom. Barrage gets a kill over on to Zentaro, and that's going to enable this overtime goal to be scored, and Cow's looking very strong going into potentially the final set of the game, and the match even.
Yeah, that was a really good bait by Mai, forcing the Zoe the Witch to come back. And as a result, Kaliol just gets the KO with a barrage, and then Atlas just in an unfortunate 50-50 situation. And Mai doesn't lose any of the stacks, more importantly. One thing to note is because of the Egoist pickup, Victory Bacon was able to move up very quickly and not get punished because of that extra burst of speed. And you know, that's just another person with more cooldowns just in the barriers. And as we see here, Assertive just can't hold it out.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not for lack of trying. There's a lot of good defense. There's just so much offense as well, and there's just no ability to clear past Mai and Kaliol, with the occasional primary as well from Bacon and Listener as well. But the core flip out of Rune, that's going to secure one goal for Cyber. We've seen second wins from them before. We've seen them, you know, be pushed to the limit, to the brink, and come back a little bit at a time. This could be them actually coming back, or it could be another flash in the pan kind of scenario, and we're going to have to see how they're able to pull off, how they're able to keep their mental up, and if they can deal with this Asher. Great defense, though, from Bacon in the face of that incredible Zentaro play. Setting up the core flip with passive can be so difficult, but Bacon taking it like an absolute champ there. Asher projection going to help a little bit. The core is kept on this side, left side of the field here for a little bit longer. The banish as well is really nice. Lasts so long because they were outside of the goal barrier, or the goal zone there. The anomaly blocked by Kaliol as well. Again, the barrage goes through, but Strike War is not won by Kai. It's won by this Atlas on the other side. Mai trying to do some things at the bottom as well, but it ends up going over to the Rune. Solid play by Expo setting up these defensive things, but an unfortunate clear from the server is going to go down to the Kai. The core flip, the counter flip fails, but Strike actually does succeed. The Astral Protection gets it forward. The ultimate from the Zentaro as well, but the Ensnare Drums is just enough to push forward once again, and that's going to be the downtown shot. Kaliol from the midfield there, managing to get it into the goal, that top side where there's just nobody to defend.
Yeah, got the hit stun on both the midfielder and the forward, and Mai just getting the hit stun on the goalie. Just really wasn't anything that they could do in order to save that, other than pretty much an instant flip from Expo to actually burn the flip and dip out in order to not die to Mai. And this is match point. Galactic Space Cows looking to get another win under the belt with the double barrier, and it looks like Mai trying to finish it, doesn't quite get there with the primary, and it looks like Expo for now will get the core into a defendable position for Cyberswipe.
Yeah, also the core flip available on the Zentaro, going to be used there. Not defended this time, sets up a great double barrier. Good selection of the angle to attack that barrier so that it would ricochet up to the Rune. The barrage, though, from Kaliol interrupts things. Core flip out of Bacon gets sent down to the bottom, but Expo-chan intercepts. Great save as well from the Atlas on the top side of the map. Expo-chan going forward. Expo-chan trying to get it past Kaliol, but Kaliol with the barrage, with the strikes. Mai with the core flip going forward to the other side, but gonna get killed by the anomaly. Incredible by Expo-chan on that place.
Yeah, I don't think Mai. Oh, the Giga Blast though from Kai, confirming the goal with the overtime again. Right as overtime hits with that Giga Blast, core went so fast, so sort of couldn't quite react. Interesting situation at the end. Mai not quite realizing that the unstable anomaly was gonna kill them, but very nice showing from Galactic Space Cows. And you know, as Cyberswipe, even though you did get 2-0'd in this series, played, I would say, pretty competitively in a lot of the sets and had outs to win in both games.
Yeah, it was just a little bit less than cows that, led to this loss, but they did push them so far in so many of the points and they even got 6 goals out of this game. Cyberswipe definitely a contender for this, but needs a little bit more practice, a little more polish on the way that they deal with some of these situations. And this comp of the runes in Taro Atlas can look good on paper there, but in order to get a kill, it just takes so much investment. Rune has to basically his entire combo, Zintaro as well, just to get a single kill. And it's just not a great night market comp for that reason. And we had a lot of great banishes, so many good setups, but because they had to use so many abilities to move the core around, they never had what it took to get that setup actually executed in the moment of the game. And because they were just losing this midfield to this very much more mobile Kai, who's able to zip around and dash around or to speed around rather than dash around or blink around. He's not as all in as the Rune and Zintaro are.
Yeah, and I think in terms of Galactic Space Cows, straightforward, and I think they just realized their identity. It might be concerning for Galactic Space Cows if you do take away that Mako, you do lose a huge enchanter for that comp, but it's pretty straightforward what they want to do. They want to get the core into your barriers, and they don't want the core to leave there. And we saw it both matches. It was pretty effective, especially against the picks that Assertive were playing, even though they played a defensive goalie in the second game and it looked a lot better. The team comp may not have really gelled together as a result, and you really just needed a bunch of really good plays in order to sequence together in order to actually get the goals that they were getting.
Yeah, it does come down to a lot of those just interactions, the way, because we can say you very confidently, all of these players play their characters very well individually. I don't think there were any major missteps aside from the very unfortunate anomaly we saw, but that's really just due to timing, and there's not a whole lot you can do about that one. Um, so they play the characters individually very well, but it is absolutely the execution that comes down to at the end of the day. And when we're getting to this level of nasty, where it's it can be very difficult to execute your play as a team, and these teams really do have to learn that. So cows are the ones that really put in the work there, it seems, and really learned how to work as a team with this very particular comp and really just countering Cyberswipe at every move, but definitely something that Cyberswipe can fix. They definitely have the skills. They just need that experience, that knowledge of how to play together. But I'm looking forward to see them as we continue the series and the season. But speaking of continuing, I believe that we can cut to a break before we go on to the next round. So stick around, but bye for now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our second series of the night. I'm Lego Mage, joined by Cloak Oak. The names on the screen are wrong, but I'm sure we'll get that fixed. We're really getting into this pretty shortly here. The character pick ban is going on right now. Corpse Control versus the Power of Friendship. Game 1 here going to be on Atlas Lab. Spark of Focus. Rampage starting. Looks like we've got some characters locked in already. Cloak Oak, what do you make of this draft and of these teams? What are we about to be getting into?
Yeah, well, the rune ban certainly caught me off guard from Corpse Control there. I don't really get to see a lot of rune action. It looks like we won't be seeing any this game. But as far as the characters that are being played, it looks like pretty standard comps. I will say we haven't seen a whole lot of Juno action in recent days, so I'll be excited to see the Juno coming out. But everything else for Atlas Lab, you're pretty much looking at your run-of-the-mill midfield forward goalie picks. Not too much I can say there. What I will comment on is, of course, we do have Spark scaling starting off, but more interesting is the Rampage, which is always going to favor that Rasmus pick, especially if they can stay alive, right? And it does seem like, just looking at these comps, Corpse Control doesn't have like a ton of kill power to remove those Rampage stacks. So there's a decent chance that if you're grabbing barriers consistently, that Rasmus is going to grow to considerable size.
Yeah, for sure. And looking at the Sparks as well, I mean, you have the Atlas and the Kai. Both of them are going to benefit pretty heavily from starting with that Spark of Focus, and getting that Spark of Speed later on is going to be really heavily contested for Power of Friendship as well. So they've got a pretty well balanced roster going into this game. And we see the Mako goalie here as well. It's the Juno and Juliet forward duo there. I feel like Juno is not a character that we see with Mako as much.
I just parsed why the Juno is there. This was a pick ban against Mr. Flambeau.
Ah.
Yeah, those are his top two picks. So forcing him onto a tertiary character with the Runo the Rude ban and the Juno pick.
Yeah, probably gonna be Wii, I think, playing that Juno. We'll find out that we're getting into the game right about now, so we'll see who's on what here. Hopping into it, Mr. Flambeau, of course, on the Kai, Weston on the Atlas, and Sero on the Rasmus for the Power of Friendship. We're about to take a look at our starting awakenings as well. And Cloak Oak, this could be a bit of a close game. Power of Friendship are sitting near the top of the board. Corpse Control are also at a pretty healthy neutral state as well. This is a pretty notable series in terms of playoff standings. So, when it comes down to playoff times, if it is close, games like this are going to matter quite a lot. Looks like we got double sparks from both sides here. Just the Brawlers going for the Rampage, and already off to kind of a big start with a quick KO there.
Yeah, Wii is without a doubt just a menace when it comes to patrolling the sides as Julie. This dude is a little too good at finding just random opportunistic dash punches. So that's definitely not going to be the last one of those we see this game. And we are seeing the first barriers being taken. There's another one right there. And yeah, just one Rampage stack for each of them for the time being.
Yeah, but already off to those 2 KOs, the Pummelers, of course, paying dividends. A nice little mix-up there from Sero as the barrier will fall. Open goal now is Mr. Flambeau trying to back him up, just having come off of that respawn. We going for another dash punch there. Mostly gets the core. Just up nice control. Sero, though, in the top side, has the Whiplash available. Is going to be able to sink it right in, forcing a lot of cooldowns out of Beelzebub there. And the strike shot will go wide. The Power of Friendship first up on the board. And actually recovering on those Rampage stacks. Going to be 2 for Sero, only 1 for Wii. So, off to a good start there.
Yeah, I do want to talk about the... I do think that Rampage being a starting awakening has a lot to do with why so many sparks have shown up here. Midfielder, goalie don't usually get as much use out of it. Holy crap, another dash punch.
He is on a tear.
Oh my gosh, great flip defended away right there into a strike war. Yeah, nice comeback goal there. for Corpse Control.
Mr. Flambeau with the Borg emote there as well. It's always fun to see. But yeah, Wii is going to be a problem this match. Already at 3 KOs if Prize Fighter shows up, or Ad Rush. It could spiral out of control, I think, very quickly there for the Power of Friendship if they don't avoid that edge and respect it. A little bit of an own barrier there from Beelzebub, but should be able to get it out here. Zaxmac doing everything that he can, dribbling on this top side to try and clear it. Putting Sero in jail knee and snare drums as well is going to help out quite a lot. Mr. Flambeau looking for a recovery here. Gets it just out of the dash punch. The Slime's coming down, though, trying to set up Wii. Has the flurries, but the expanse from Weston will hold it down. Zaxmac trapped in the corner. Will get it through with the Slime. A well-placed Slime there. Got like 3 hits off to force it through the Rasmus. But now, Power Friendship looking to reconvert. Bottom side, Sarah will bring down that barrier. Dash Punch goes wide, goes for the pendulum swing, but doesn't quite get it in. Now pushing the top corner of the barrage to back it up. And another goal here for Sarah into the top side. Power Friendship now up 2-1.
Yeah, two important things that we got to see out of that point. First of all, we getting all those early KOs is really starting to already have an effect on the psychology of Power of Friendship, right? Because their corner offense was shut down when we came back and was patrolling for kills, right? Which is normal for a Julie, but they're a little more scared of Wii because he's actually already had success with those kills, right? And the other important thing is that in spite of that, Power of Friendship powered on through and still got that goal. So well played to them.
Absolutely, and now core flips up. Kind of around the board. Wii gonna go a little bit wide on that dash punch. Not quite picking up the KO. Mr. Flambeau looks to take over the core and try and find a way to get it back to Sero here. The Slime's coming out from Zaxmac, making it difficult. Now 2 core flips up for each side. Both getting burnt there from Corpse Control. Gets stalled out, though, as Mr. Flambeau and Weston also burn the double. And no barriers getting traded off of that. A huge waste of energy from both sides there, unfortunately. Now Sero falling back on the defense to try and regain some control. Mr. Flambeau just taking a beating here in the midfield. Has to fall back and leave Weston to the defense. Slime's coming out. It's going to make it way too hard to defend that barrier. The lock finally dropping here to go into overtime. A strike shot from Beelzebub. Send it back in, but a nice ricochet off the black hole, and that's both sides opened up. Sero dribbling down the top side. Core flip for Beelzebub. Sends it around the world here. Weston gets back to Mr. Flambeau. Trying to gain control in the midfield. Death touch from Sarah. Walking up with the whiplash. Too many cooldowns for Beelzebub. Gets it back to Wii. Dash punch to the top side. Goes for the dribble. Zaxmac now looking for the pass. But Weston, a great clear against the Slime. Gets it back to Sarah now. Fighting over the core of the midfield. Moving at mock speed. Mr. Flambeau off the black hole. Down to Sarah. Zaxmac interrupts it. Sets up the Slime and sinks it in. Corpse Control. They'll tie it up on set point.
Yeah, with Juno on your team, you're always slightly advantaged in overtime. Zaxmac those primaries, and even sometimes just the raw Blobos, if the momentum carries correctly, can send the core at red speeds in overtime. So definitely a scary thing. A little bit of a preemptive ult there popped by Weston, but no dash punch was found by Wii.
Yeah, now we're getting to this part of the game where it seems to be taking a little while for these teams to bring down the locks. Power Friendship a little bit more cautious of Wii's dash punches as this game does go on. And we not quite as effective, of course, at getting those KOs. And you gotta wonder here if eventually the fatigue is going to be getting to one of these goalies. They've been holding it down so well, but Wii able to finally pick up a KO there. Burnt the flip for it. The Sad Boys angle, unfortunately, does see Corpse Control's lock survive, but Sero standing on his last legs as Zaxmac looking to attack this top barrier. It will come down, and Wii with a nice strike war gets the second one. A great opportunity to take the set here. Wii pushing in. Mr. Flambeau, an insane strike war though, but Sero shoots it backwards just a bit. It's still in their goal arc. They got to get it out of there. Almost a disaster from Weston, able to save it with the core flip off of his own expanse. Zaxmac now dribbling the top side. A Slime pass to Wii. Can't quite get a hold of it. The strike shot sends it back in, keeping Weston on his toes here. But it gets back to Mr. Flambeau eventually. Core flip from Beelzebub. Not going to connect with anyone. Zaxmac interrupting the pass. Pass to Wii. Gets the dash punch KO. Is able to sink it in from there. Corpse Control will take set 1.
Yeah, this Wii dude is a freaking menace on the Juliet.
Oh, yeah.
Is undoubtedly this guy's best pick. Super familiar on the character, and it's showing through right here. Looking at this draft, we do have a Spark of Strength up, which Zaxmac might take here. Yeah, I was about to say, even with Hotshot up on the board, Spark of Strength is a really solid draft here for this Juno, especially since it looked like Sarah was ready to take it for some reason. But yeah, instead Sarah will go for the Egoist. I'm surprised that Stagger Swagger floated so far through this draft. I would have expected maybe we to pick that up. Nobody picked that up, even though there's been actually quite a bit of staggering going on this game. So we'll see if these players come to regret it. But for now, all of them did pick up pretty solid Awakenings besides that. We'll see how it plays out in set 2.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely a pretty interesting draft. There's a lot of really good items on the board, and I am a little bit surprised to see Zaxsmack. I mean, I guess you start with the Spark, right? And you want to go for it, but I think maybe just denying the Egoist away and forcing Sero to take that Spark when he doesn't have one could also be kind of the play. It keeps it on the board for later. I think Wii was next in that draft. Probably would have.
Yeah, which Wii doesn't want the Spark. It,
Yeah,
it would have
that's
floated
true.
down anyways. Yeah, it was.
It's a tricky situation.
I like the Spark pickup just because the Spark of Strength essentially is Hot Shot in terms of Juno like sending the core quickly. Like especially if she gets one more Spark, it is Hot Shot plus a little bonus because you deal more player damage too.
Another crazy KO here from Wii. 2 forwards trying to hold it down in the net, but Power of Friendship is not enough against Corpse Control. They'll sink it in on the power play now. Going to go up 2-0 in this set. They're going to have 3 flips available here. A massive energy advantage, a pretty quick way to close out this set. Already, we're seeing the level disparity sink in. Zaxsmack at level 7. As opposed to Mr. Flambeau's level 4. Corpse Control putting in a lot of work with this rock.
Yeah, that being said, Weston did just have a fantastic Celestial Intervention there. With how many KOs Corpse Control have been getting, I'm not sure how much of a benefit that'll be, but here's a Turn of Fate. A KO on the side of Power of Friendship will send Wii off the board. Bye-bye to all those Rampage stacks, and this power play will give them a lot of cooldowns relieved from the defense of Corpse Control.
Not able to get the barrier, though. A nice strike shot there from Beelzebub. Will actually get one in return. Now Zaxsmack looking to pressure this bottom side. Sero able to recover. Bring it back to this bottom right corner now. Trying to make a passing play to Mr. Flambeau, but just can't really seem to get anything going. Core flip comes out. Zaxsmack core flip in return. Death touch from Sero cuts the pass. Core flip from Beelzebub to send it back in, but no money all around so far as we head into overtime. For Zaxsmack, I think, looking to take over now. The core speed is up. Sends it back around. Redirect here with the Slime. Beelzebub goes for a nice primary, but Weston able to react with the Astral Projection. Both sides fighting for these final barriers here. Mr. Flambeau looking to get the core. Has the barrage. Sends it around. Sad Boy's angle again. The barrier will remain up. And Wii with the big KO. Goes for the flip and picks up the barrier in the power play. Pass to Zaxsmack now. Beelzebub brings it back in. The Slimes are in position. Unfortunate black hole bounce, though. Will buy a bunch of time here for the Power of Friendship for Sero to come back online. Mr. Flambeau plays well here against the Slime. Try and recover the core against Wii. Brings it down to the bottom side. The Astral Projection able to save that away. Wastes the core flip, though. And Wii is still pressuring this goal quite hard. Back pass here to Zaxsmack. Dribble off the center. Gets some damage in. The Slime sends it around. Weston quick to react. Get in position. Gets it back to Sero. Core flip from Beelzebub. But Mr. Flambeau recovers to the bottom side. Giga Blast. Doesn't send it anywhere. Trying to get out of this bottom corner. But a nice shot. Beelzebub not quite fast enough to save the barrier. And now both sides are opened up once again. Wii with a dribble. But the Expanse catches him out. He's back into the top corner. Weston now. Pass to Mr. Flambeau. The Slimes are in the way. We're not quite able to catch up to the core in time. Moving just a little bit too fast here. Core will eventually here get back to Sero. Doesn't seem to have a death touch available to drag it back in, and Weston goes for the center clear. Zaxsmack cuts it away with the Slime. Corpse Control taking another set here, 3-0, but that was a slug match of a point right there.
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah, these defenses are both so solid. So the points are dragging on quite a bit. There is a third Spark on the board, undoubtedly about to be picked up by Zaxsmack. Wow. There it is. Lots of stuff for this Atlas here, though. I'm eyeing Perfect Form, mainly. That's been a really popular pickup on Atlases lately, especially because your ult actually resets all of your cooldowns, because the ult counts as hits that proc Perfect Form. And other than that, some nice speed for Mr. Flambeau there will maybe allow him to keep up a little better with not only this Spark of Agility Juno, but also the speed at which she's sending the core. which I actually wanted to talk about that because it looks like this Juno is actually having a massive influence over the match, not just because of these sparks, but also because she's forcing Mr. Flambeau to be back on defense a lot more to help Weston out. And that's not really a favorable position for the offensive duo of Sarah and Mr. Flambeau on Rasmus and Kai. So you can see Mr. Flambeau is back on defense right now. And as a result, Sarah is kind of out here all on his own, not able to link up with the midfielder. And so when it does get cleared out by Flambeau and Weston, like it is right now, it just quickly ends up back in the hands of Beelzebub, who's able to clear it around Sarah. So a lot of the offensive pressure is just constantly on the side of Corpse Control. And it's really hard for Sarah and Mr. Flambeau to actually keep possession of the core on the enemy side. But they have just gotten it right now.
Yeah, for sure. And I wanted to point out that self-res that Weston actually got a few seconds ago was kind of crazy. But once again, deep in overtime here. And Zaxmac on the defense, going to get a nice pass to Wee. Will find the dash punch through Weston. I think another important thing from that draft is the prize fighter that we were talking about earlier that actually showed up on Wii, who has not gotten any KOs at that point, but I think that's definitely going to come into play, especially because you have 2 stacking awakenings on this Juliet. Every KO, every barrier means so much, but if they do manage to take this brawler off the field, it's going to be a massive loss.
Yeah, undoubtedly. And I mean, for the time being, I think we're running into another long point right now. Many flips stalled out in front of the barrier. I think we're in for the long haul on this point. There's one of those KOs you were mentioning, though, and I'm sure there'll be another one on the way here just shortly.
Yeah, that's really huge. Weezy gets a massive power spike from that now, and looking for this power play, but Sarah with the pendulum swing resets all of that. The stacks removed from the Juliet now in a power play with the power of friendship. Try and make something happen and bring down the second barrier. They're going to push this bottom corner, put some pressure on, but we able to respawn. Power of Friendship not been so successful on the power plays this game. They've only gotten a few, but haven't really gotten much off of it when they are able to get them, unfortunately. Meanwhile, we with some more pressure in this top corner. The dash punch not quite able to lock it down. Might have another opportunity here. Goes for the flurries, but doesn't quite catch the core. The black hole will send it back around, and Zaxmac gets up in the midfield here, running quite fast with all those sparks, and Wee goes for the punch, but it's a sad boy's angle. Zaxmac, however, on the rebound will get it done. It's an open goal on the side of Power of Friendship. Mr. Flambeau looking to tie it up. The Giga Blast will get the barrier now, and Death Touch comes out. Mr. Flambeau trying to force it through with the barrage. Zaxmac holds it down. The dash punch goes wide, won't find the KO. Both sides can happen, anything can go. Now Sarah pushing this bottom side. Beelzebub holds it down with the drum and bass. Core flip from Wee. Shot to the top. Blocked by Expanse. Zaxmac looking to cover it with the slime. Wee going for another one. The slime despawns at just the right time. Wee with the flurries. Weston saves it again. Dash punch comes in from Wee, though. It's another goalie KO. And a point for Corpse Control. On match point now. Wee and Zaxmac playing out of their minds.
Yeah, I mean, it was really just a war of attrition there for Corpse Control. They just had to keep the defense alive long enough to get all of Sero and Mr. Flambeau's evades out with the help of Wee's abilities, and then they were able to just explode onto offense. With most of their cooldowns up, I mean, Zach's got incredible CDR from the triple spark, obviously, and with all of that to help, it wasn't too long before another dash punch into a goal. And we're about to see another one happen right here. They could end the game just immediately. They've got all of Power of Friendship crowded up in the back of the goal box.
And Sarah trying to make a place to get this core out of here, but Wee winning a strike war is going to send it right back into that bottom corner now. Zach's backing him up. A strike shot will save it away. Still in a tough situation. Weston almost goes down. Pass up to Wee here, covering the top corner, but the slimes come in and it's too much. Zach's back will get the final goal, and that's going to be 3-0 for Corpse Control in Game 1.
Yeah, that is a dominant performance from them. I mean, the triple spark on the Juno is obviously really huge, and Zaxmac worked hard to get those sparks, getting 2 set MVPs, if I'm not mistaken, to get the second and third sparks after the starting one. And it shows in the stats as well. 218 redirects and more goals than his forward. In fact, full goal participation. All 9 goals, either scored or assisted by Zaxmac. So yeah, that Juno cooked a lot. But I mean, we did also point out the 9 Wii KOs that happened throughout that game, and even more that were clutchly revived by Weston. It really did just seem like there were never any feet on the brake pedal for Corpse Control that game.
Yeah, and I mean, Weston and Mr. Flambeau were putting up very solid defense, but Zach Smack was so oppressive on both sides of the field there. I mean, you see the damage, you see the 73 shots being the highest in the game and the most redirects as well as, like you pointed out, full goal participation is pretty nutty, especially, you know, just from the midfielder. So it's really, you know, we were kind of like talking about the Juno pick just a little bit, and I was kind of more like a deny, but I mean, Zach Smack piloted it incredibly well, and it's almost worth Power of Friendship, like trying to pick it away or banning it next game, thinking about it. But yeah, definitely a rough one there for Power of Friendship to start things off. We'll see how they're able to bring it back in game 2, which I think we'll see the map in just a moment. What that is,
I believe it's Night Market.
Night Market
for game 2.
Okay.
And I was going to say hopefully it's a map that, you know, Juno is not as strong on, but actually Night Market is theoretically one of Juno's strongest maps because she, you know, relies on her Blobos to control space and create those opportunities. Having a smaller map where those Blobos take up even more space, and you know, you can take advantage of the lanes to just shoot the core super fast at all sorts of funky angles. It actually is a really strong map for Juno. I would probably rank it as her strongest map in the game. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that Juno either picked or hopefully banned away by Power of Friendship if they want to stay in this.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of characters strong on Night Market, I mean, Juliet. I mean,
oh yeah,
that's kind of a Juliet's thing. I mean, Mako's also a really strong goalie on that map as well, but you know, Juliet's kind of like one of the signature characters for that map, and you kind of have this terrifying duo of Wii and Zach Smack who just piloted those characters to, you know, pretty terrifying extent. Juliet getting the KOs that you want, and of course the Juno putting in all of the core control that you expect, as well as doing quite a bit of chip damage. It's a really scary combination here for Power of Friendship going into this draft. I think you gotta probably ban one of them. I think last time they banned the Asher, and well, you're kind of picking your poison here, right? You know, in terms of it's so hard to ban out brawlers, right? They're usually pretty versatile on at least 3 characters that kind of do the same thing. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this goes.
Juliet, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean they're kind of the same character, just like slightly different. And then if for some reason you can't go either of those, you know, there's usually an X on the board. Most brawlers can do that, or Zentaro even. But actually, it looks like Power of Friendship banning out the Luna, which is pretty surprising here. Corpse Control once again banning the Rune. Oh, well, it looks like actually Andy got subbed in on goalie, so the Luna ban makes sense, but so that Juliet, of course, to worry about. Corpse Control first picking that Juno. Gonna see Zach Smack right back on it, so it's gonna be a scary one.
Yeah, the Juno pick makes sense after how effective it was in that previous match, and it is another spark of focus start. We could see a run back of Zach Smack just claiming a bunch of set MVPs and becoming secretary. But I actually really like this Now pickup from Power of Friendship. I think that Now is a pretty good response to Juno in the midfield. Presumably this is Mr. Flambeau playing the Now. Now has a lot of hits just in general. Her cooldowns are pretty short, and they can all be deployed really quickly to contest those slimes, as well as control a lot of space. So you can contest the Juno's space control as well. There's that X that you were predicting, as well as the Julie for Wii once more. This is probably a Rasmus goalie for Andy. He's been playing a lot of Rasmus goalie lately, and he actually cooks on.
Yeah, he does. I've seen it before. It's pretty good. I mean, would probably be a spark start for that as well, which is just, you know, it's just a versatile thing to have. So it also keeps it away from. I mean, we already saw the X get locked in, so the brawler pick's already done. But I mean, there's the Juno Juliet again on the spark of focus start. So pretty similar to what we were looking at last time. Of course, this time we have Andy on the goalie with the Rasmus just to dish out some even more damage. But obviously we have a different forward duo here. The X. You have the Timeless Creator. You have a bit more speed you can work with. A brawler you can kind of synergize with a little bit better. And a bit more just raw stuffing power down the lanes. So the playstyle is going to be a bit different. We'll have to see if that's going to make it different or not, or if we is still going to find these kills, get these picks, and just earn loads and loads of XP to constantly get good draft spots. I think we're having a little bit of trouble with the lobby. It should get started soon. All right. Well, jumping into it now. May have lost Cloak for just a moment, but see Andy on the Rasmus, and of course Juliet once again. A notable thing with he looks like Weston on the Atlas for a second time now. Held it down pretty well in the face of adversity, but between the slime pressure across the net and the Juliet pressure in the corner, it always seems like there's nowhere you can really send it. The Timeless Creator does give a little bit more buffer. To that, you have a bigger expanse. You can cover a lot more ground, but it's still definitely going to be a challenge when you're dealing with the same forward duo, and this time on a much more favorable map. We see Mag Souls on Mr. Flambeau. Everyone else is the gear that you would expect. No big surprises there as we get into this first kickoff. Both barriers going for a quick X Maximus. Be able to punch it in. That'll be a first point up here for Power of Friendship. Start us off, and that's the kind of things you want to see. Not letting Wii get any early KOs is definitely a good thing when you compare it to last game here. And Mr. Flambeau with a quick recovery is actually getting another double barrier for the Power of Friendship. Zero now trying to dribble down the goal. Will lose the core just a bit. Forces Wii to spend the dash punch cooldown to recover it. Does take quite a bit of damage here as well. Everyone looking to KO Wii. Weston able to defend the barrier now. Sarah dribbling up once again. Andy able to block that one away. Looking for another opportunity. Wii is still alive, but badly damaged. Well, may be able to recover an orb and get some of that health back now. The slime's coming out. Weston still holding it down in the face of adversity here. But Andy not letting anything get through. And Saro not getting opportunity for the core. And there's the KO from Wii onto Mr. Flambeau. Without a midfielder now, it's going to be a little bit rough here. Flurries come out. Core flip from Weston's able to send it back, but a slime is in the way as Axmac quickly recovers the core. Now the barrier falls, and Andy up in the midfield looking to start this offense again. Core flip KO from Saro takes a Juliet off the field. They're looking for a power play of their own. Power of Friendship working their way up. The strike shot from Weston to keep the pressure on. Pass down to Mr. Flambeau. Goes to the bottom side. Doesn't quite have the angle. Passes back up to Saro, who will win the strike war as Power of Friendship on set point.
Yeah, we have Saro acting as the enforcer of Power of Friendship in this game so far. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if that continues to be the case moving forward. It looks like his mission is to just shut down this Juliet, which I think is a really smart call out from Power of Friendship after they had so much trouble with the Juliet last game. They're doing a fantastic job of shutting down Wii right now, but we'll see how well they're able to continue to do that as she scales.
And doing a good job of keeping both barriers up as well. The defense has been pretty consistently good for Power of Friendship here. A nice Atlas ult there as well to keep Saro alive. Now looking to recover the core. Is back in a bit of a neutral state. Wii with the dash punch. Takes Saro off the board. They'll be able to pick up a barrier on that power play as well. And they're looking for the point. Wii in the corner. The evade comes out from Weston, but it's a bit early as the Flurry's going to catch him and sink it in. A double KO for Wii and the point. Corpse Control getting right back into it.
Yeah, I will say Corpse Control probably don't have the favored setup to win this first set. They are all on triple spark, and Weston and Mr. Flambeau with the Timeless do have a big boost in power, but they are making it happen. Corpse Control are persevering here. They've already got both barriers down, and they're looking primed to tie up the set.
And with an open goal now, it's up to Sero to get some of these barriers. Does manage to pick up one. Mr. Flambeau looks to set him up for another one, but the offense looking to reconvert here. Big expanse from Weston buys quite a bit of time as Wee pushing back up into the corner. The Slime's coming out, but a nice clear will save them for now. But Wee gets another KO onto Sero, and now yet another power play. Zach's back with a dribble. A shot to the top will be blocked by Mr. Flambeau. Core flip pass from Andy. Mr. Flambeau covers with a core flip of his own. Death touch from Andy brings it back around. Wee looking for the punch, but Weston clears it out. Sero back online now. A lot of damage onto Wee. They pick up the KO into their goal box. That was Sero with the X Maximus. Now a power play in return here for Power of Friendship. Mr. Flambeau and Sero working their way up the field. They'll pick up the second barrier here into the corner now. Weston coming up into the midfield. Wee is back online and looks for a kill on Sero. Doesn't quite find it. The heels come out from the Now and the Atlas. But Wee wants this point, trying to bring it down to the bottom side. Mr. Flambeau winning the foot race, but the Slime's in the way. Zaxback brings it up to the top, and the strike shot's not quick enough. Corpse Control will tie it up on set point.
Yeah, two Slimes chained together. Essentially gives you a little mini hot shot on Juno. The momentum carry is enough to send that core at unprecedented speeds. So Zaxmack still has a lot of pressure in the overtime, as would anyone on Juno, but especially this guy because he's shown that he's a proficient pilot. And the energy advantage is on the side of Corpse Control here, so despite their pick of Scaling Awakenings in the starting draft, they might just win the first set anyways. And there it is right there. The flip from Zaxmack finds the third goal. And that's another set MVP. Zaxmack, depending on whether or not a spark shows up, we could be about to see the spark run back. There it is.
Yeah, there it is. Spark resilience. But you got the 1-2 punch as well. But Sero does have the spark. You don't want the X getting that. You're just going to pick that up every single time, I think. And there it is for Zaxmack, the double spark. Do you have the 1-2 punch and the big fish on the board? I think the big fish is... You might want to take that as X just to stay alive with how many KOs are coming out. And will be the pickup. 1-2 punch for Wee is pretty terrifying here, but unstoppable. And get picked up by the Rasmus. It's just a deny away so that you don't have to deal with that. It's pretty good against him, so... Pretty solid all around. Mr. Flambeau in the prime time. And Weston picking up the team player. Going to be pretty big for Power of Friendship here, but it's hard to ignore that Corpse Control draft for sure. It's really good.
Yeah, I do think that Corpse Control does come out on the top of that draft, especially because they haven't lost any of their scaling potential, right? If anything, I'd actually say that they just enhanced it, because you've already got this strong spark setup on Zaxmack. Rasmus has so much left to go. They're already scoring goals here. I don't see the Corpse Control momentum slowing down soon. Something needs to fundamentally change about the way that Power of Friendship is approaching this game. And I think a lot of it starts with controlling the midfield, which means controlling the speed gate. Right now, it looks like Corpse Control have been getting most of the benefit from that speed gate. A lot more mobility, a lot more presence in the midfield. It could just be a small tweak to Power of Friendship's game plan that might give them the upper edge.
And Wee looking for another KO there. Doesn't quite get it onto Mr. Flambeau. Damage has come back around to him. The orb's coming up here as well. Sero has a flip available. Mr. Flambeau just now earning his. There's going to be 3 flips up for Power of Friendship here, and they're going to look to make a play. Mr. Flambeau bringing it to the top side, but Wee unloading onto Sero. Gets a kill from midfield. That 1-2 punch, just so much damage. Mr. Flambeau forced to use the flip defensively now. Weston still holding on to it. Pushing this barrier hard. Does whiff the flip here, but the barrier will remain standing. Andy with a nice run back will get the whiplash to save his own barrier now. As Sero comes back online. And now we go into overtime. Wee with the dribble. A dash punch for the stun and just lets the core bounce up. Beautiful barrier take here. And now Zaxmack looking to set up for this point. Has the flip available. Jumps to the top side. Burns it here. Shoots it through 2 of them. But Weston able to recover it. Sends it back down. Trying to get it over to Sero here. There's so many abilities in the way. And Zaxmack is just showing up at all the right places. Passes it to Wee. Doesn't quite get the dash punch. But they're going to give him another opportunity, it looks like. As soon as they get it past Sero. But they can't. Mr. Flambeau with a beautiful pass. Brings down that second barrier. And now the X with the core flip available, burns it here, waits out the slides, a shot to the bottom through all three of them. Perfect placement. They thought he was going to the top for sure, and no one could react to that. Power Friendship 1-1 now.
Yeah, some funny mind games that you can get out there, right? But you take those goals when you can get them, and Power Friendship is keeping the momentum up here. They do seem to be a lot more comfortable. I noticed that they had a lot more midfield presence in that last point compared to the rest of this game. We'll see if they're able to keep possession of it, but for now, they're doing a pretty good job.
Oh, and Sero with a nice dash into X Maximus will actually pick up a KO here and a nice double barrier off the ricochet. Puts Power Friendship in a massive advantage with an open goal and a power play, but Rasmus pretty good against the open goal. Doesn't have the death touch available though, so won't be able to save that one. Sero set Mr. Flambeau up for an easy shot to the top there. Power Friendship now on set point with an opportunity to take a set of their own. It'll be their first of the series, but they've been here before, and Corpse Control have brought it back every single time thus far.
Yeah, I'm liking the way that they're looking a lot better here, though. The goals that they're scoring don't look like little, lucky one-off chances, except maybe that core flip from Sarah. That might have been a lucky one-off chance, but definitely that last goal was just well coordinated between Flambeau and Sero. And keeping barriers alive, another power play here, and Sero does have core flip, burns it for the barrier. This is the power of friendship you came here to see tonight, folks. That is the first set of the series for Power of Friendship, 3-1, and this is their chance to bring it all back.
And the primary placement from Mr. Flambeau caught Andy lacking and sent him back into his own goal box. Some nice stuff there. Seeing Built Diff, or seeing Rampage show up, stacks on stacks as well. Big ticket item here. The pancakes will go over to Sero on the X with no sparks available. Just look to take what's best. Built Diff on Andy. You want the size on the Rasmus. Twin Drive for Mr. Flambeau. That's Twin Drive Prime Time. Timeless Creator for the now. Ariel's going to go over to the Zack Smack and Missile Prop on the Atlas here. Rampage making his way all the way down to the Juliet. There's a lot of stuff on that board, and no one really there to deny it other than Sero, who wanted the speed instead. So, I mean, the Brawlers for sure are eating pretty good tonight, but, I mean, I don't know. What do you think of that draft? It seems like kind of even to me.
I think that was the first draft of the series that Power of Friendship won. Speed on the X is incredibly critical because it allows Sero the freedom to actually walk back and forth across the map. Like, normally X, you're kind of forced to stay on the enemy side of the field. On Night Market, the only time that you get to walk back is when you have Speed Gate. Now, Sero is free to bully Wii as much as he wants, which means this Julie is no longer as much of a problem. It leaves the three of them to then deal with Zack Smack. They're going to be getting a lot more power plays this set, and they're going to have a lot more cooldowns to control the midfield with that now having Twin Drive. It was a big draft for Power of Friendship, and I think it's about to be a big set for them, too.
Seeing now the corner pressure, but Wii with the double KO brings the forward duo off the map now. The triple power play here. Weston trying to buy time with the flip, but Zack Smack bringing down the barrier with a nice pass. Has a flip available. Of course, slips away from them, though, and that's some precious seconds for Power of Friendship to come back online. And Sero looking to make a play. Death touch from Andy. Joinks it away. Mr. Flambeau looking to set up. Zack Smack has the flip available. He's going to sink it in right at the top, right past the Expanse. Sneaks it in there. Corpse Control will make good on Wii's big play there. Out of left field on that one for sure. And that reset all of Sero's pancakes.
Yeah, sometimes you lose the draft, but you can win the double dash punch, and that's all that really matters. Wii has been a very dependable brawler this entire series, and that's not the last of him that we're going to see tonight.
I mean, yeah, for sure not. Especially with the build that we have going as well. Has taken a bit of damage this point here. Trying to recover. Goes for the dash punch from Mr. Flambeau, but doesn't quite get it. He'll be able to heal back up, though, as the core getting slung around on this top side. Looking to get back into the fight. Has the flurries. Core flip from Mr. Flambeau. He'll be able to get it out of there. And now Andy up in the midfield. Sero looking for a play. Goes for the flip. He's going to get stalled out. The slime in the way. And a core flip from Andy clears it out. But that's Wii paying for it with his life. Now a power play here from Power of Friendship. Zaxmac trying to commit to this offense to buy as much time as possible. A nice death touch from Andy, but Sero able to recover out of the hit stun pretty quickly. Bring down the barrier. Sero with the bull rush into redirect. Shinks it right into the top side. Power of Friendship once again tying it up 1-1 and making good on the power play.
Yeah, not only did Power of Friendship execute their game plan perfectly there, consistently just keeping control of the midfield, letting Sero bully them out, but having all 3 members of Corpse Control on the other side of the field allowed Sero to stack up so many hits that he actually already has those stacks on stacks back online. And as the barriers are open here, I'll say it, Power of Friendship are eating good this point as well.
Absolutely, and with Wee so hurt, Weston actually just up in the midfield with the core flip. Don't even go for Weston there. Just sinks it right in, right past Andy. Wonderful shot from the goalie here. Is Power of Friendship now up 2-1 and in a good position to bring this series back into their control.
Yeah, and for once it's Wee's scaling awakenings that are actually being reset here. No rampage stacks to his name, and no barriers to Andy's name.
Wow.
And all the goals in the set, sub 1, to Power of Friendship's name. And if they are able to keep this scaling up and continue executing on this game plan, we are looking at a game 3 in our future.
Yeah, and there's Spark of Agility, Egoist Hotshot. Really big ticket items here for notable members of the team. It's going to be Agility's pickup for Sero, the second Spark, and just some more speed on this X. Stagger Swagger for Wee is actually really strong here with how much damage they've been taking. The primary way of getting KO's Power of Friendship is through Stagger with the X on the field. Hotshot for the now is going to be a deny away from Zaxmac, who goes for the Rapid Fire instead. Still a really strong pickup. Egoist falling all the way to Weston is really huge for the goalie, and Andy just having to pick up that Deadeye there. I mean, Cloak, some of these drafts have been kind of loaded. I think Power of Friendship made away with another really good one there.
Yeah, for sure. Especially because we had Ad Rush on the table, and it's a testament to how good they're playing right now. Not only because they just scored the first point of this set and are on their way to winning the game, but also that we had to give up on that scaling to try to stop some of the momentum that Power of Friendship has got on top of them, and they're still damaging the guy. This X Now duo, the new era X, is an absolutely disgusting offensive duo, and Power of Friendship are playing it incredibly well.
And now down one barrier here, but up in energy. Core flip from Sero is going to pick up the KO. That barrier as well. Going to make good on this power play. They've been weak on the power play all night, but that last set, they've been doing pretty well on it. So hopefully trying to get something, but actually going to just pick up another KO. Mr. Flambeau going to take Wee off the board yet again, and there's the second barrier gone. Weston up in the midfield. Just so much pressure in this corner. Zaxmac, a nice slime, will buy quite a bit of time. Core flip's got to come out from Weston here to try and pass it back in to reignite this offense. X-Maximus getting popped, goes for the bell ringer. Corner pressure. Andy with a nice Strike War save. He's got to do it at least one more time. Here's Sero walking up to the goal and just barely able to win that one at the last possible second. Power of Friendship now on match point.
Yeah, that's that big fish coming in clutch there. That little bit of extra size is sometimes all you need to win the Strike War on the goal line. And Sero, I'm sure, is very happy that he's got that massive strike box right now. And just one more goal. It's not looking so good for them right now, but I mean, they have a 2-point lead here, and Power of Friendship only needs one more to make Game 3 happen.
Yeah, a little bit of a buffer to work with. You're going to close it out as soon as you can, of course. So looking for this second barrier here. Mr. Fleming on the top side, almost getting KO'd. Barely managed to survive now. Zaxmac jumping down to the bottom, throwing out the slimes. Big expanse from Weston. Core flip is intercepted by Sero with the core flip of his own now. It is just Wee in the front lines. The power play here for Power of Friendship. We'll see them bring down a barrier, but Wee catches Mr. Flambeau lack. It doesn't matter though, because Sero in a good spot to make the shot. We can't catch it with the core flip, and that's Power of Friendship bringing it back. We're going to a Game 3. 3-1 in that one, and ooh boy, I mean, we got a contest on our hands.
Yeah, I think that the momentum shift in that game was more or less exactly what I predicted it to be. that the midfield control was the missing piece in the game plan for Power of Friendship. As soon as they started getting the benefits of that speed gate more, there was a sort of a cascade of consequences from that. So first of all, Sero being able to rush around quite a bit more and get some of those surprise KOs onto Corpse Control allowed them to get a lot more power plays. And at the same time, they were consistently keeping the core forward, which was enabling damage from Sero to set up those KOs in the first place. So you get more KO opportunities as well as more damage that makes those KOs easier to accomplish. And so they were just getting a lot more power plays, a lot more possession. That won them the drafts, and then the drafts won them the game. A very, very nice chain reaction there, as well as a chemical reaction between the members of Power of Friendship to make that happen. Incredibly well played from them. And after seeing both of these teams on their prime game in the first 2 games of this series, I have no predictions as to who's going to come out on top in Game 3.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell, especially with that roster changeup that Corpse Control did, bringing in Andy. I imagine if they keep an Andy in, it's just going to be another Luna ban here. But I'm just taking another quick look at these stats. I mean, Zaxmax still did really well for the team, but Sero just put up some pretty crazy numbers for a brawler. 118 redirects, 10 goals, 9 KOs. Coming out swinging with 30,000 damage as well. I mean, you gotta be scared of that X for sure. But I mean, Game 3 gonna be on Clarion Corp, another one of kind of the new big 3, basically what we've been running tonight. So it's gonna be curious to see how this turns out, because the Juno did not pan out there at all once the now X scaling got online. So I'm curious how they're going to have to respond to this. Corpse Control not in the driver's seat anymore. Do you think we're going to get the run back? Because that was a pretty similar team comp outside of the goalie.
I think that similar to how I wouldn't expect a Juno to show up on Atlas Lab, I'm not expecting the Juno pick for Clarion Corp unless it's like good starting awakenings for Juno. At this point, I do think that there's no need to like pick ban the Juno. I think you can just let Mr. Flambeau have it. He's proven that he's competent on the now as well. So and now is, in my opinion, one of the best midfielders on Clarion Test Chamber. I think she's really effective on a lot of the variants. And I don't really think that Juno is. And I mean, Rune is always a bit of a dubious pick, but it's Flambeau's a bit of a menace on it. So I understand if they keep banning the Rune off just because it's his main. I don't think you need to ban the Juno or pick it if you're Corpse Control. I think Zaxmax should take whatever he's most comfortable on, whatever he thinks that he can beat Power of Friendship on. You keep Wee on the Juliet just because he knows how to cook with it. Maybe switch it up and stick him on the Asher to get a little bit more like stun potential and less focus on the dash punches. But that's really about all of the edits that I can see being made to Corpse Control's game plan. I think Andy's going to be back on the Rasmus goalie. It's a really good pick for this map. Maybe Power of Friendship decides to pick ban that specifically to keep Andy off kilter. But I think that is ideally what Corpse Control wants to run in Game 3.
Oh, the ban's coming in once again. Looks like the Luna staying off the table. It's a Deadeye Big Fish start here. So it makes sense. Corpse Control, of course, banning out the Rune. Yet again, he's going to insta-pick the Juno. That's his Power of Friendship this time. First picking the Juno. So changing things up already as Corpse Control going to go for the Imi instead, and they're going to be the ones to pick this go around. And with the Deadeye Big Fish start, definitely a scary forward duo. I imagine we're going to see the Rasmus come in for that final pick with the side start for Andy on that Corpse Control roster. So it's just going to be a really scary damage roster. But we're waiting for Power Friendships, pick 4 and 5. Looks like we got Weston back on the Atlas. We're waiting for this Brawler pick to come through. And it's going to be the Rasmus. They're going to deny it away.
And I think that's smart, especially
Yeah.
considering I'm pretty sure that Aimi was meant for Zack Smack, which means that I actually does Andy play Finny?
I think
Andy
so.
either plays Aimi or Finny, and I'm not sure which
I want
one.
to say that he plays. I want to say I've seen him play Finny, but honestly, I could be wrong.
Yeah, that sounds right to me as well. I think Andy's on the Finny here. It'd be really
Yeah.
weird to run Finny midfield as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Deadeye Big Fish start. This is a high damage team. They're make Weston put in the work with that healing, that Atlas ult.
Yeah, I mean Atlas is really, really good into single kills, right? If you get a KO here and there, and you have a vigilant Atlas goalie, Atlas is going to make sure that the power play does not get a ton of advantage. But if you have a lot of damage on your comp, which Corpse Control do absolutely have a lot of damage this game, especially with that Deadeye start on the Aimi and the Finny, there's not a whole lot that Atlas is going to do in terms of healing. He might like stop some of the bleeding, but you might still be missing an arm or two. So we'll see how Power of Friendship is going to respond to this high damage comp. But they do have Big Fish, which gives a little bit of stagger to hopefully counteract some of it. It's just a matter of whether or not we're going to see Corpse Control scale into just an absolutely disgusting kill comp, or if Power of Friendship can get the better of them before they're able to get that advantage.
Yeah, I mean, the Big Fish is definitely really huge here because a lot of the damage coming out from Corpse Control is just really high chip damage. But Andy actually going for Powerhouse Pauldrons on the Finny. No boots, no strike shot, just wants pure damage on this thing. And the first goal slipping on in. A little bit too fast there for Mr. Flambeau and Weston to be able to catch up to that. But yeah, Corpse Control, they want blood this game. And I mean, it was a pretty short first point there, but I imagine we're going to see it as already Cero eating up that triple take, and they almost had the opportunity there if they hadn't gotten the nice evade.
I will say unconventional gear pickup for Mr. Flambeau this game has opted for Mag Souls. This is one of the maps where I think I like never see Mag Souls except out of like eccentric Centauro players or like rune players. There's a double KO. What in the frick? Corpse Control with a double power play. All three of them about to have flip up. Weston alone in the goal box does manage to stave it off for the time being, but a Finny card. Holy crap.
Andy getting two of those with the Finny card. That thing hurts with Deadeye and Pauldrons. And I think we picked up the other one earlier in that point. I mean, Power of Friendship, you got to be so careful dealing with this comp. Like, they can just pump out damage whenever they feel like it. One look at a health bar and someone's low, or one good triple take landing, and I mean, like that, it could be lights out. And we already see Mr. Flambeau getting some attention here with just a little bit of damage on him. The barriers are going down though, and Weston putting some pressure on with a nice goalie rotation there. Daxmac able to recover now as Cero working up into the top side. All three members of Corpse Control there to defend and just unload onto Cero, and that's going to be another KO there for Wii, punishing the Rasmus for daring walk up to the goal box. But Mr. Flambeau, a nice outplay, the 1v3, makes a really good jump and calls out Andy on that clear, and we'll put Power of Friendship on the board.
Yeah, I think that this is a very risky gambit for Power of Friendship. And I say gambit because they didn't know that the high damage was going to come out. You could probably intuit it just seeing the Deadeye in Starting Awakenings, but definitely, not playing into the Deadeye is always a little bit dangerous. And they are going to have to score blazing fast against this team before they get beat up. Because, I mean, that point that we just watched right there, Corpse Control literally just stunned them off of the core, damaged them off the core, forced the Atlas ult out really, really early. They're not just a kill comp. Corpse Control are also really effective at controlling the core at the same time. which is what's making them so effective right now, it's going to take a lot to challenge them in this game, especially with so many survivability awakenings, Unstoppable and Catalyst showing up here. One of those does get to be denied away by Zach Smack immediately, which is just one less way for Power of Friendship to stay alive in this game.
Yeah, I think the idea there was Axmac wanted to wait and try and get Wii the Catalyst because they didn't think that Mr. Flambeau would try and deny it with some other stuff on the board, but you know they did and ended up getting that. But of course that let Wii get the prize fighter instead, which is just as scary. And Axmac, of course, being able to pick up that Unstoppable is a really big deny as well. So and team player on Andy, that's just a huge draft for Corpse Control, and they're already like snowballing out of control. And you mentioned earlier that you want Power of Friendship, to kind of be the ones to be getting those fast points before there's time for damage to come out. But it feels like every point that Corpse Control got that set, those were the quick rounds, were the ones where Corpse Control was scoring.
Yeah, they aren't even needing to get kills to make these points happen. They just need to get Power of Friendship low enough that they can't play the game the way that they want to. And in this case, the way that they need to, or else they're going to lose the series.
And now, making it here to overtime, Weston and Mr. Flambeau in a predicament. Zaxmac with a nice strike war gets it down to Wii. And that's Corpse Control going up on the board yet again to start off round 2. And they're looking really good here. Power of Friendship, where is the win condition, do you think?
Sparks. Sero gets Sparks. That's the win condition.
Interesting.
Sero gets Sparks. Weston gets Extra Special. Juno gets her normal Annoying Awakenings. Like, it is definitely not a lost game for Power of Friendship. All 3 of their players individually have big, big opportunities for scaling that can not only change their gameplay, but change the game plan of the entire team. But for the time being, none of those things are paying off in this set. I'm sure that we're about to see a quick 3-0 from Corpse Control, and the next draft is going to be the thing that decides it all.
Yeah, gotta agree with you there. And now we're on the Era Anomaly, or the map. We gonna end up claiming that big orb. We'll lose 1 barrier here. A nice elusive from Sero to dodge the giant bell ringer, but an open goal for the side of Corpse Control. Not quite enough damage onto Power of Friendship here. They're playing it pretty well. They're actually going to pick up the KO onto Wii, reset those Prize Fighter stacks now. An opportunity to make something happen. A lot of damage onto Sero. They're trying to get it past the Fireball Sentry. Sero with a nice Death Touch brings it to the top side, and Andy not quite quick enough to be able to catch up to it there. Was not willing to burn the core flip on that one. So Power of Friendship, very productive point there for sure.
Yeah, no, they certainly surprised me. I wasn't expecting them to be able to make any progress this set, but nice KOs and then just solid maneuvering around that Aimee and Finny will award them the point. They're doing a really good job with these Celestial Interventions on Atlas, allowing Mr. Flambeau to play near the wall when he needs to. It's a really smart play, even when it's just preventative, even when there's not necessarily a KO threat. You just never know. This Wii guy, he's always lurking around every corner. He's in your closet. He'll probably murder you in the forest at night or something. Just to play it safe, might as well drop the Atlas ult down. And they did get a little bit of reward for it, but their barriers are now gone.
Well, almost a KO onto Sero as well. Had to burn some of that energy, set him back on his core flip quite a bit. It's a bit of a dangerous predicament to be in. That Aimee is lurking in the invisibility lane here, and now we're in overtime. The Unstoppable coming in big there for Zaxmac to preserve the barriers. Now Weston having to defend in this bottom corner. Goes for the Expanse kind of early here, so that's on cooldown now. Zaxmac looking to recover this core and get out of this bottom corner. Mr. Flambeau in the way, but Wii makes quick work of that. Bellringer will pick up the KO. Andy bringing it down the invisibility lane. Wii in position. Weston able to get there in time to make the save, but Andy pushing back up with a double KO onto Zaxmac now. Just Weston in the 1v3. Mr. Flambeau respawning at the perfect time. Zaxmac going for the bottom, but Weston able to recover. Elusive Expanse will hold on to it. Mr. Flambeau brings the top pass back down to Zaxmac again. Gets it to Wii, and a shot to the bottom is good. Around and around a few times there, but eventually able to trip up Weston, and Corpse Control will take a second set.
Yeah, and this is the draft that will decide it all here. I'm eyeing Extra Special and Hot Shot. Those are two huge awakenings for Power of Friendship. The Hot Shot gets taken away by Zach Smack. No surprises there. I think Atlas picking up Extra Special would be really, really smart here. I was expecting Egoist on Mr. Flambeau. Catalyst Egoist. Goes for the stacks on stacks instead, which is so dangerous with all of this KO potential. I think that was a big misdraft there. A bunch of Scaling Awakenings picked up by Power of Friendship, even though they are dire risk of death here. I imagine that they're just trying to stop the scaling of Corpse Control, but you can't play for that right now. Like, they don't have a win condition. You need to grab the Awakenings that give you the win condition. So at this point, I think the best that they can do is pray for a miracle in this set.
Yeah, dropping the Egoist there is definitely a rough decision. With, like you said, one KO can reset those stacks, and you don't get the bonus energy from the evade. And Andy still got Rapid Fire Finny, Rapid Fire Deadeye Finny. It's pretty terrifying. Like, not only did they kind of not stop the scaling, but like it still feels like Corpse Control were able to get more scaling off of that regardless. And Andy with the 4-kill streak, launching someone off the map, the sniper rifle, and 2 core flips available as well for Corpse Control. It's about to be 3 as Wee's going to have one here. Core flip here, burnt from Zach Smack, just sinks it right into the top side. Weston in the perfect 50-50. It's Corpse Control going up on the board yet again and looking to close this one out. Power Friendship, I mean, they're just praying for a miracle, really, I think, at this point.
Yeah, that's all that you really can do. But, I mean, sometimes Cero's able to make the miracles happen. What a double barrier there right at the start of the point. Almost scoring a goal. Does get the flip out from Andy. And another flip burned from Wee. This is actually a really, really solid position for Power of Friendship. Decent chance that they do manage to tie up the set here. Can't speak for how the rest of it will go from there.
See Mr. Flambeau with the slimes playing around this bumper here, but Wee dashing in, the X Maximus popped, and that's another KO onto Mr. Flambeau, resetting the pancakes. A massive loss for sure. Cero trying to make something happen in the 1v2, but Andy wards it off with the triple take. Trying to capitalize on this power play now. A lot of damage onto Wee. Now hold on for now. Cyber Swipe from Zach Smack picks up the second barrier. Cero looking for the point, though, as the Whiplash fishes it out of the big finish. And that will be Power of Friendship claiming that point, tying it up 1-1. But still, a lot of work to go. Wee is at max prize fighter stacks, and Mr. Flambeau only has 4 pancakes. This X hurts so bad.
I got to applaud Cero for the heat of the moment creativity on that goal, though.
It's really
the
nice.
Slow on the Finny ult, allowing the Whiplash to actually connect at that angle. I think that's the only way that you could have scored at that angle. And yeah, I mean, this is Power of Friendship just literally coming through. We are seeing Friendship triumph over tyranny essentially right now. This KO comp should be absolutely blowing them to the dust, but these are the fast points that they need if they want to stay in this game.
Yeah, that was a nasty back pass from Mr. Flambeau. That tripped up Andy and Zach Smack, and they ended up crossing legs and leaving that big part of the net open. And now Zach Smack cyber swiping up to the top side, goes for another core flip here and sets up the sentry. A lot of damage onto both the brawlers though. Core flip KO, but it's a double. Zach Smack picks up a sentry and takes Cero as well. I think that was a Finny card right at the end there. And Corpse Control taking the point. Everyone got staggered in that corner, and then both the core flips just got like traded and it just went flying. But I mean, Corpse Control on match point now and a double barrier to start them off. It's a really good spot for them to just potentially close it on out. They can manage to work the core back over there. Power Friendship not going to make it easy, though.
Yeah, I mean, we still with 3 prize fighter stacks, even dying right there, got assists on those last kills that got the prize fighter stacks back up. He might die again right here, is staggered, and Power Friendship do have a flip in front of the net. Flambeau burns it here, goes for the demon angle, doesn't quite catch it. Cero gets the KO on the giant Atlas orb though, and this is a power play in front of the net for Power of Friendship. Zach Smack almost a core flip here. Might be able to score a cheeky
the
goal.
top.
There it is.
Didn't even need the core flip. Just a nice little dribble off the top side, and the Expanse could not catch it from Weston. Corpse Control will take the series after a little bit of a nail biter there, but ultimately they were in control of that game. 2-1 against Power of Friendship, and a very solid performance. 5 KOs on Andy, 4 on Wii. A lot of damage for a pretty short game, though. It's a 13-minute game, and Andy had 26,000 damage. That's 2,000 damage every minute out of this Finny.
Yeah, staying true to their name and controlling the corpses of their enemies right off the map. 11 KOs across the entire team. And 180 redirects on Zach Smack?
Oh, yeah.
When did that happen?
I mean, Zach Smack's been putting up the most redirects throughout this series. Like, not the most in the game last game, but the most on his team last game, and that first game as well. Like, I mean, Zach Smack has been very good at rotating the offense and the defense, and just always being there for whoever needs them, playing a really solid midfield.
It's more than double the redirects of both of his teammates. So like it's one thing to have consistently most redirects, you're having slightly more influence on the game than everyone else. No, that is demonstrably more of an influence on the game than everyone else. Like that is, and it shows through in the damage as well, right? Like you can tell that Zach Smack was burning abilities to keep that core control up because he does have lower damage than his two teammates. But I think that a better way to phrase that is that Zach Smack enabled the game plan of Corpse Control there by actually giving his teammates the purchase to play the proper KO comp to get those KOs and enable a victory. Really, really well played by all 3 members of Corpse Control there.
Yeah, for sure. A very solid series all around. And Power of Friendship, I mean, they hung in there. They took that second game and are still proving to be a pretty decent contender. But these top 6 spots are definitely starting to get competitive. I think we're going to be taking a look at our standings here. Are still ongoing, so you might not see 6 games on some of them yet. Some of them are only at 5, but if you go ahead and bring that up.
I saw it there for a second.
Yeah, it disappeared.
We've been robbed.
Spots as well near the top. Corpse Control now coming out of their neutral state at a bit of a winning record. Cat Munch Enjoyers, Orb Chasers, Cyber Swipes, all hanging around the middle of the pack. But Team Arc, unfortunately, 0-6, not looking good for playoff contentions. Yin and Yang, Flex, and Power of Friendship also trailing now. Those teams really looking for some wins in these coming weeks to be able to get back in there. But those bottom playoff spots are still very much open. I mean, you see how many teams are kind of, sitting middle of the pack there. Some of these losing teams can run the table and definitely secure a spot. But, I mean, Galactic Space Cows, Polar Cortex, Dynasty Party, Famine F Corp, really looking like the teams to beat right now. Galactic Space Cows, Polar Cortex in particular. Not only are they undefeated, but, like, they've been playing like they're undefeated. They are looking like very strong teams.
Yeah, I do think that the match that we just watched of Corpse Control definitely puts them as a top contender for playoffs now as well. But certainly the win records of those top 4 teams are something else. Like there's a stark difference between the top 4 nasty teams this season and everybody else. But there's plenty of time left in the season. This is only week 3. So all sorts of things can shake up as we move through into future weeks and prepare for playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. And, well, that's all that we have for tonight for week 3 on stream. like we said, a couple of the matches still finishing up, so we'll have a more updated bracket later on in the night for people to check out. But that's all from us tonight. Come back next week for week 4, same time, 8 p.m. on Seraphim Omega Strikers. Do you have anything else you want to say, Cloak?
Nothing other than see you in the queues and have a wonderful night.
Yeah, have a good night. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.